And you
All
folks
set?
are good to go.
Great, thank you, Dave. All right, welcome to the Tuesday, March 9th meeting of the Rockland Board of Health. I would like to call this meeting to order. And first thing on the agenda is signatures, which have been taken care of in the office. Delshon, is there anything in particular with signatures we need to worry about, or is it all set?
Nope, that's all set. You guys came in, signed. Well, the signatures line is blank because we don't bring those to meetings anymore.
Right, yeah.
But yeah.
Exactly. Great. So under business, we had the refuse contract discussion.
Yep.
Delshon?
So as you all know, I have been having weekly interviews, we call them initial interviews regarding the RFP. We've had a few people that are interested in the contract this year, and we're just trying to figure out if a lot of things that we heard was that it's late in the game for the RFP. Some concerns were they don't know if they would be able to, if we were to go with another person, they don't know if they can get the trucks on time, employees and staff. So there's a lot of different things that we're working out right now. The biggest increase is the prevailing wage is, I believe it's $44.31. So that's going to be a big increase to our disposal cost. It's like $9 more an hour.
Wow. Yeah. That is a hike. All right.
Either 44 or 40. I forget which one it is, but it's 40 something.
Pennies at that point.
Yep.
Okay.
So I've been working with Todd Cope on the RFP process. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of information that you want to get from people. Our meetings were scheduled for only like 30 minutes. They went well over that, hour and 15, hour and 20, with a lot of great questions. A lot of different things that I didn't think was possible, like pick up in one day. So there's a lot of different things that they're talking about. Yep.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, kids. So let's keep our options open. Plus, as we all know, is also the South Shore Recycling Cooperative is helping us on the recycling end, trying to lower our costs there, but nothing's new with that. Great. Let's, try and keep our options open with that. See, get a little better service for a little less money. God forbid. Any questions, Christine or Steve?
Nope. No questions for me.
No, I don't think so. Not at this point.
Okay. Great. All right. The next item on the agenda is the trash fee increase. And I know Biz is joining us, the town accountant, to help explain the unfortunate need for this. Nobody's happy with this. But unfortunately, it is necessary. Delshon, do you have anything before Biz?
Yeah, I do want to say that prior to last year's increase and the increase when we started the automated service, there was no increase at all for 15 years. So here we are today in this position we're in. People are home, our disposal costs, our tonnages have gone up significantly. And, but that's it.
Okay. I just want to add also that one of the things I really want to get out of this whole discussion tonight and get it out there on WRPS is for the public to really see, we're not just doing this because of mismanagement or anything else, or It's a combination of a whole bunch of things. As Delshon mentioned, the increased tonnage is a good chunk of it, but there are other reasons why we have to do that, which Biz will get into that in a little more detail. So, Biz, if you could take it away.
I would like to see if Mr. Lapp would like to say something before I continue.
Thanks, Biz. Yeah, and if you don't mind, Scott, I wanted
No,
to.
not at all. Thank you.
Sure. I just wanted to add on to what you were just saying. It's definitely true that, the rate increases that are required are really for a couple of reasons. The first is the Rockland Board of Health is doing a great job. These increases are not the result of anything wrong that the town of Rockland's doing or anything that we're missing out on. It's something that all communities across the entire Commonwealth are facing, and the cost of disposing trash is going up. There's only so many places it can go, and it's a market-driven business. And it's something that all communities are facing. It's not unique to Rockland. And I think if anything, as Delshon noted, I think probably the low rates or the lack of rate increases in the past probably make it seem a little bit more dramatic now. But we're forced to this point because the town's general fund is just not able to subsidize the losses. Ultimately, this type of enterprise should become a completely self-supporting enterprise that the fees pay for the expenses. So we recognize it's not something anybody wants to do, but it's not the result of any kind of mismanagement. And on the contrary, it's something that is market driven that all communities across the state and the whole region of the country are facing. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear. Thanks.
Thank you.
Doug.
Thanks, Doug.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen so that I can show you what's been worked on in order to come up with what we feel as though would be a reasonable rate. Again, this is the decision of the commissioners, Board of Health, to take a look at and help decide what's the best thing for the community. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
It is.
Okay. Okay, so what we have here is the rates are based on the actual budget. So your FY22 budget right now, you have your salary allocations, which we only pay part of the salary from the general fund budget. So it's also important to note that some of the salaries are getting paid out of the recycling budget. So if everything was being paid out of the general fund budget, this would increase to closer to $90,000. Okay, so part of that's paid elsewhere. The recycling disposal fee, or the tipping fee, I believe it is, has gone up from 390 is what we had budgeted for FY21. History is showing us that we will be short this year. So at the special town meeting, we are requesting an increase of about $40,000 to cover the deficit, which would be $430 for the actual budget for fiscal 21. We thought it prudent to increase to $440,000 based on the current budgeting and the knowns. Our refuse is $1,184,457 for your budget. That's a roughly 6% increase over last year. Again, that's based on market knowns. Landfill maintenance, it's got a very small budget at $1,000. A lot of the landfill maintenance, Delly, correct me if I'm wrong, we have recycling revolving revenue that we use for some of this. And Delshon is very active as trying to get various grants that will help with roll-off containers and different pickup stations and things like that. Next is the South Shore Recycling Co-op. We're part of a cooperative, although I say I have a typo there. Sorry about that. So with that co-op, it helps us to keep our recycling costs down. And this, again, is something that Delshon's very active with. Hazardous waste, that is your hazardous waste day that you have. I think it's once a year or twice a year. So that's just general hazardous waste. Residents, I believe, do also have to get stickers. Is that correct? Through the
Yes, so
recycling?
residents need to purchase stickers to utilize the recycling center.
Mhm.
However, when people go to hazardous waste days, the town is paying for that. So that money comes out of that line item.
I just
And
think,
then some.
I think as we explain as we go along, it might be a little bit easier. Bulky disposal, that would be, I think it's called white items or something like that, which would be refrigerators, large bulky items. If I want to get rid of my dishwasher, my refrigerator, TVs, things like that.
Mhm.
Okay. Data processing, that's the software that we use to issue bills. This is a shared expense through the water, the sewer, and the Board of Health. They all issue their bills together, so it's a one cost mailing. So it actually reduces the postage fees and printing fees. So that's already a consolidation process that they have been working with. Landfill testing, this is a requirement by the DEP. Several years ago, it was a dump, which all communities had to close the dumps. They were no longer allowed. So each year we have a cost of $40,000, and this is strictly for the Beach Street Center. We also have a landfill testing for the Pleasant Street. Is that correct, Mr. Lamp? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So essentially, the budget for the waste collection is $1,821,077.91. Out of that, the town has to absorb our share, which is 100,491.33. That's for the different recycling totes, et cetera, that get picked up at town hall. And I also believe it covers the dumpsters. So our gross cost after the town puts in its 100,000 is 1,717,586.58. Now, part of the billing process is also what's called abatements. Abatements run about 0.52 of the total cost to run the operations. And an abatement is when someone's moved, they get billed, you have to abate the bill because no, it's not out there to be paid. Delshon, is that correct?
No, so
Okay, good.
abated bills means that it's a vacant property and the owner is in the process of renovating the property. We have a few people that have 3-family homes, they're not using them. One of the units is empty, i.e. it's getting renovated. We abate per unit.
And what that means is we actually reduce our accounts receivable and the amount that we bill. So that's about 0.52% each year. So that brings our rate calculation to 1,726,518.03 because we have to add back that accounts receivable as a lost revenue, so to speak. The next section here is I have to add back uncollected funds, which for the trash is currently 6.1968% or $107,000 on average. And this eventually goes into liens. People have a certain amount of time to pay the bill. If they don't pay the bill, they go onto their tax bill and becomes a lien issue. Historically, liens run, I did a 3-year look back, 118,000, 119,000, 120,000. So as the years progress, the lien costs are going up, but for this exercise, we're only using a percentage. So because we're not collecting that money to keep the operations going, we have to add that back. So the essential net cost of running the operations is 1,833,527.62. Before I go any farther, are there questions on this aspect that I can answer, or Delshon or Mr. Lapp can assist with?
Biz, I just have one question about the data processing.
Mhm.
So is that figure 1/3 of what the total cost is? It is. Okay, just want to
Yep.
clarify. Okay.
1/3. Currently, the company that we use costs us about $36,000 a year
Okay,
for the 3 different billing aspects of the utilities.
got it.
Okay. So that gives us that total net cost. So last year we had the rate increase, of which we increased it to $82. It
Mhm.
was recommended that it go to 83, but we only did the 82. It was late in the game when we were doing the adjustments. So as we look here down below, so our estimated revenue to keep us operating and not impact the general fund and the rest of the budget aspects, we should be bringing in 1,833,527. In order to get to that amount, we are recommending that we go to 96 per quarter or $384 per year. And this intention, it's roughly $17.57 increase per year. And what we're hoping that this should do is going to prevent future revenue shortfalls. And it will help us to not increase rates in the future unless there is a substantial increase again for our services and charges. It should help fund this account. Also, when you look at this, your budget changes. So we're trying to take a little preventive measure on this to get it to the 384 per month. Now, it's up to the board to take a look at this. It's up to Delshawn to take a look at this and make the recommendations. After a lot of work, working together, Delshawn, I, others involved, did recommend the 96.
Scott, do you mind if I add one thing?
Sure, go ahead.
Biz, do you want to just talk a little bit about, the impact on like town meeting and what we have to do, to close any shortfalls, how it affects our free cash, that type of thing, just so they understand the practical implication of not taking an action?
Absolutely. This might be a
Definitely.
good tab for me to show you. It's 2018 to 2020 revenue and expense accounts. This may give you a little bit of an inkling. Here in 2018, we brought in revenue of 1,339,393.99. We expensed out 1,291,714.57. In 2017 to 2018, we also had to pay $134,802 in 17 expenses. We had to pay those in 18. It's called an encumbrance. So the shortfall here was 87,000. You go into 2019, our revenue was 1,366,421.13. Our expenses were 1,496,682.44. We aren't presenting an encumbrance here because this is a roll forward balance. So that now made our deficit of 130,261. You go into 2020, the revenues collected were 1 million for 1,225. Expenses incurred were 1,557,989. We had to encumber 145,613.58. So that makes the overall deficit 2,377.70. What that does when we close out our year, the revenue that we anticipated is coming in short. Luckily, the town of Rockland has had some turnbacks or departmental budgets that weren't spent that kept us from going into a deficit in free cash. If I was just looking at the trash only, you would have a deficit balance of $302,000, which means that your operation isn't bringing in the revenue it needs to sustain itself. 2021, we know that we did a rate increase. Right now, as of what was recorded today, we've brought in $1,003,000. We've expended $1,181,000, which is running us a deficit at 177. So I'm hoping things turn around a little bit. We get more revenues in, but you're on track to also have a deficit for the trash going forward. We can increase the rates, but people need to pay. That's part of the issue. So if we look at our accounts receivable, in 2018, our total accounts receivable, which included liens and interest, was 262,535.63. 2019, 259,899.29. 2020, 267,296.35. So your accounts receivable bounced back and forth to the, let's say, 275, 260, 275 range. What that tells you is that's revenue that you have not collected as of yet. Currently, on the liens, because I did take a look back at the liens, 2019 for bills that were not paid were 112,000. That value had to be moved into the tax bills. 2020 was 120,000. 221 is roughly the same at 120,000. So this is all uncollected revenue. With a lien, just like a tax lien on your regular bills, it goes onto your tax bill. You have to pay it on your tax bill. And if you don't, then it starts just a very bad slippery slope that nobody wants to go down. Any questions on this section? I know it's a lot of information to absorb. And anything I can do to help identify this, I will do.
I do have a question directed combination to you, Biz, and to Dell. First of all, thank you for these figures. That they're very solid figures. You presented them very well, so we could, understand exactly what's going on with this deficit. As much as we don't like to increase, I don't want to have to come back again next year and realize that, yeah, maybe 96 wasn't enough. My concern, and I'll, direct this towards you, Biz, you're the person with the numbers. Considering the cost of trash is, I do not see it going down. I mean, I don't think anybody sees cost of trash disposal going down as far as, the tipping cost and everything, including, recycling. We're trying to work something out with the cooperative, but still, I mean, costs will just continue to rise. We don't like seeing increases every single year. And in the current environment with the economy and, I hate blaming COVID for everything, but, that really did, hit a lot of families very hard. So I'm afraid there'll be, the accounts that are going into lien will just keep increasing.
Correct.
Especially since if we're raising the rates, that automatically is going to raise the costs there. And human nature, you have to prioritize your bills.
Correct.
So do you feel that the 96 will cover us for a few years? Or do you think we have to revisit this?
If we look at, let me see here. Last year's budget was 164,739,537. And so I'm doing this quickly. Our budget went up roughly 11% overall from last year to this year. So let's say we're trying to enter into a new contract. So if we go ahead and we increase this to the 96, if we get a increase of 6% again from last year to this year, you're going to be looking at 1,943,053 for fiscal 23 estimated. It may be worthwhile to go to, I wouldn't go below the 96. It may be worthwhile if you don't want to continue to do rate increases for the next year or two to consider going to 100. But that's an additional increase of another $5 on the 17. Right. So now you're looking at a $25 increase versus a 17.
Right.
And the burden, it's a tough situation. No matter how you do it, it's going to be a tough situation.
Well, absolutely, because I hate to have to, because in essence, what we're doing is those that are, can and are paying the bills are subsidizing those that are not, for whatever reason the bills aren't getting paid. Yeah, so I mean, I hate to have to, put more burden on on the majority of the town.
Yeah, I think we all feel that way. Biz,
Mhm.
what has the percentage increase been on other years? Because it makes sense that this past year has been really high because more people are at home. They're, they're eating meals at home. They're not out at work all day, for a lot of folks. So, that increase is going to be higher than quote unquote normal years where we don't have, a situation like COVID. So I just wanted to kind of I'm just wondering what the increase is compared to other years in percentages,
Okay, as far
which
as
you
I
may
know,
have mentioned and I just
no, that's
haven't
okay.
followed.
I didn't mention,
Okay.
Delhi, the rate before we increased last year to the 82, is that 74?
I believe so.
Okay. Okay, you're muted, Delhi.
To 68. I'm sorry.
It was
Yeah.
68?
Well, we
Okay.
went from
No.
62 to 67. No, wait a minute.
I'm sorry.
We're
I
at
think
62, then we went to 76.
I think it was 74. Does that, I think it
There
was
was, there was a,
74.
yeah, there was a
No,
Senate
no.
before the,
74, now we're at 82. We went to 76 and then to 82
right.
Okay, so
for one quarter.
it was roughly a 10% increase from 2019 into 2021, I believe. And that was based on contracts. So now you're looking at a 17% increase roughly, but that should hold you. And if you look at it, the budget went up X amount, just the contract itself went up by 6%.
yeah, I think I didn't maybe ask the question that I was, or maybe I didn't ask it correctly. I think so, or I misunderstood what you said. So the increase, the 11% increase that you talked about last year, what was that for specifically?
That was for the budget, the same thing.
Okay, so that was for the budget. Okay,
Yes, same concept as this concept. It's exactly the same way as it's been written here. It was done before.
okay. So how much of an increase of trash or usage have we had over the past year, do you think?
Well, it's not the usage Delhi can talk to because I don't have those
Yeah.
figures, but I think it's very important for people to realize that unfortunately for the world, we're going to be at our new normal. More people will be working from home, so the burden for something like this will be more extensive on the communities. You go to work, you have your lunch, you throw it in your trash barrel, it goes into the dumpster. You're at home, you have your lunch, it goes into your town barrel. So these are just things that we have to be aware of. But it's also, like Delhi said earlier, the cost for the refuse pickup, prevailing wage went up roughly $9 an hour. If is what I believe Delhi said. So
Yep.
that alone,
Yeah,
and it could keep going up. I think taking a conservative approach, not putting up the rates for the next 2 years, re-examine it in 2024 would probably be a prudent. Where are we going in 22? Where are we in 23? Do we have to re-examine in 24?
I'm pulling up the tonnage from 20,
Mhm.
from 19 to 20. I'm just trying to get on.
okay. It's just more a curiosity factor.
Mhm.
And I agree with you, Biz. I do think that we are going to be kind of in a new normal. I think, there are some folks that will go back to work, but I think a lot of the ones who are working from home will probably continue to work from home.
Correct.
A lot, a percentage. I can't, and I don't think any of us can predict what that percentage will be, because I don't think we have any idea. But what I do know is we can't continue to be, not making the cost that we need to cover
And
the
and
costs.
this is based on a user fee. Um, you know, it's a little different from a building permit, something like that. So a user fee should be a self-contained budgeting aspect and revenue aspect. And that's how we have to look at this.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, we just been, as Christine was saying, playing catch up.
Yeah, and I don't think we can't keep doing that, you know?
Right.
I think that's part of the problem that, you know, we've run into, and
Mm.
nobody wants to raise the bill, you know, I don't want my bill raised.
I don't
And
want
I
to
think we can all
recommend
agree
it
with
get
that.
raised. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
very difficult position.
Yeah, but I don't think it would make a whole lot of sense for us to not be responsible in looking at what the next, you know, few years are gonna do for us either.
Yeah. Yeah.
And-
If,
So,
sorry, go ahead.
You know, that is part of this. You can't just look at today, you have to look at the future.
exactly.
And when you only look at today, you're missing a big piece of what's going on out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting the feel that we need to plan, even though we don't want to, but plan maybe, you know, every other year,
Take a look.
reevaluate and you know, have smaller increases.
Right.
You know, to adjust for the increase in cost, just like, you know, home heating oil, you know, with your home budget.
Mhm.
You know, you have
Right.
to, you need to anticipate that, and we need to anticipate these rising costs that unfortunately just are not going to go away.
Right.
And, you know, that's just it. When this is not a controllable cost, so it's not as though it
Yeah.
goes up 2.5% each year. This is a cost that we can't control,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, it's not like a employment contract or something like that.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're basically held over a barrel.
No
Yes.
pun intended.
Yeah. Yeah. True. Sorry.
So
Okay.
in our
Right.
tonnage, sorry, I just totally interrupted everybody.
No.
So our tonnage total for 2019 was 4,183. And this for now, our tonnage is annually, not fiscal year. So our annual fiscal for 20 was 5,173.80.
That's 1,000.
Okay,
increase
so
909.
roughly
Yeah, a
it's
little bit.
1,000 tons
A
more
little, yeah.
in the last year.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. And Delhi, do you have any sense as to what the tonnage was like in 2018? Just kind of going back a couple of years.
Yep. In 2018. And now just remind you, that's not recycling. That is just strictly trash.
Just trash.
4,103.
So again, it went up in those 2 years, 1,087.
Yeah.
Well, no, it didn't go up.
Well, it went up 80 from
Yeah.
18 to 19, and then 1,000,
Yeah.
And
So
if you,
in the-
if you look
800,
at-
I'm sorry. Yeah, 80.
if you look at the COVID factor, you know, 19, you know, is basically fine, normal, just like with 18, and then all of a sudden, 3/4 of the way through, 20 is when we started staying home, and the further in the year that we went, the more we were staying home, so the more we're
Right.
producing at home.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if for 21 we saw an increase of 1,500.
Correct.
Yeah, could very well be. Yep.
So
And that
Okay.
that is no bearing on the contract on the RFP, because we have a separate contract for our disposal cost.
Right.
The increase we're seeing on both ends, the disposal end,
Mhm.
but we have a contract, so they can't go up. I think it's past 2.5%. Is that correct, Biz?
I don't have your contract in front of me. I'm
All right.
sorry.
Yeah, I think they can't go over a certain percent, a small percentage. And
But if the costs are gonna be really high, then they're gonna, the next time we need to renew a contract, you're gonna get hit either way. So
Correct.
we have to prepare.
Mhm.
So I think we can all agree, we obviously have to go with an increase.
Yep.
And nobody really wants to go, more. Steve, you've been on the board for a while, and you've been through this before. Any insight?
Well, yeah, the mistake you make is being so dead set against raising the rate that you fall behind.
Right.
And I think early on, when I first got on the board, we actually had to send out a fifth quarter bill to catch up.
Mm,
And I don't think we want to do that. So I think we're struggling to keep up at this point. I know we're not even talking about the recycling because that's in the contract also. And the recycling hit us really hard about a year and a half ago
mhm.
when China just said we're not taking this stuff anymore.
Right.
So that cost went crazy, and that's I think part of why we're having trouble keeping up.
Mhm.
So I think if our projections seem to be on track, I don't think we should wait every 2 years to look at the rates. I think we should, right around the end of the calendar year, we should look at the rates and try to predict where it's going, and just to keep up. I don't know. I know 96 is the minimum, and I don't see any way out of that at least. So
Mhm.
my understanding was in the old days, anything extra after the trash bills were all paid, anything extra went into the general fund. I don't know if that's being tracked the same way now. I don't know if we're able to carry over to try to absorb increases a little bit internally. I know in my business I've been doing that, and in my business I'm forced to raise prices this year. So it's there's a lot of this going on everywhere.
Right.
Right. That's a good point, Steve. Yeah, that's my impression is anything extra goes into the general fund. Are we allowed to have a revolving account, if I'm using the term properly, to be able to, absorb in the future? So if we do,
that's what
perhaps-
Biz was talking about earlier, the stabilization.
It would, what needs to be considered in the future and not for right now, would be potentially going into an enterprise fund situation where you're self-sustained, and every year when the year closes out, you will have what's called retained earnings, which is money that stays with the enterprise fund. So that retained earnings can be used to purchase new totes or do other projects that you need to do in order to sustain the trash system.
Mm.
Can I add one point to that, Scott?
Yeah, please.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was hoping you might. Biz and I have talked a lot about that, and we do think down the road that is something we should all really strongly consider, and we think we should end up doing that. We just earlier tonight, actually, Biz and I were on a sewer commission meeting where the sewer commissioners agreed to move forward to establish an enterprise fund at town meeting, and we've already had the discussions with the water department. The only reason why we hadn't brought that to you already is because we knew your rates were too low. And if we established it right now, you guys would be in trouble, basically, because so I think once you get to the point where you are self-sustaining and your rates are high enough and you're generating enough revenue, we absolutely think that makes total sense. Just like you said, to be able to carry over the retained earnings year to year and run your own enterprise. And the three examples the Department of Revenue gives is water, sewer, and trash for like the classic examples of enterprise funds. But we think you got to get the revenues up first for it to make sense. Otherwise, you're going to put yourself in a difficult spot.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
One of the questions, if I may interrupt, one of the questions I would ask too is, are we accounting for, you mentioned you mentioned non-ratepayers, and the non-ratepayers are pretty much the municipal buildings, the schools, the town hall, the fire department, all the buildings that we collect are all in the trash fund and not being collected. And is there an accounting for that?
Yes, the town has to contribute for FY22, $103,000 to the trash budget, so to speak. And additionally, the school department gets what's called, it's like an indirect cost or an in-kind cost. So their
Mhm.
costs go towards their base school funding or the school net funding. So it is accounted for and charged to, the school department, to the town side, etc. It's just not something that you see clearly, but it is out there.
Isn't another way to say it is what you've presented is net. So it's net of,
Yes,
the town all contributing
Correct.
for all of its town facilities.
correct.
Okay.
And that's part of the Emerson rule. We learned that a couple years ago.
Oh, yep. We learn a lot as we go along through life, don't we?
Mm.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so grateful for both of you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion on this topic?
Good.
Okay. So do we want to, would somebody like to make a motion?
Now, the board doesn't have to, just clarification, the board doesn't have to go with what's recommended. You could go higher if that's what you want to do. I just want to point that out.
So, okay, so as a point of discussion, we got 96 as a minimum, 98, God forbid 100. Steve and Christine, what is your feeling on that?
I definitely feel like we need to do at least 98. I think we need to look forward and try to not be playing catch up.
Mhm.
I don't know where that puts us. Okay, as biz is sort of changing here.
Yep. Thank you, Biz.
You're welcome.
Thanks, yeah. And
So,
thank
okay.
you. Thank you very much for the information, both from Biz and Doug. Okay.
Yeah, I would be inclined to go with 98
Mhm.
at this point. I mean, 96, we're stuck at this point to stabilize ourselves just for today.
Right.
We're
Right.
stuck at 96.
Right.
My concern still, and I only found this out a number of years ago. A number of years ago, we had some surpluses, and they went to the general fund, and my concern is that the excesses they're not being retained. If we try to raise the rates too much, the excess just goes away. It doesn't help us for future years. So I think what we need to do is we need to visit this more frequently.
Yes.
And we've been doing it, not that we haven't been doing it. We've been visiting it it seems like every 6 months for the last 2 years. So my thought would be 98 at this point. And hopefully that stabilizes us enough till we can get an enterprise fund.
Definitely. I agree. 98, yeah, like I said 96, we're treading water with it. We're, keeping our head above water. At least 98 might help, us float a little bit better going in the future. And yeah, we definitely need to go look towards the future. Obviously too late for this town meeting, but looking towards getting our numbers in a row and going with a enterprise fund. So we are more self-sufficient with this.
Mhm.
So I think we all agree on 98. Can I get a motion?
Motion for 98. With,
Second.
Second, all in
Yep.
favor?
I got a second.
Okay, motion by Christine, seconded by Steve, to raise the next, raise the trash fee to $98 per quarter.
Could you also stipulate the effective date?
As I'm saying that, I was just thinking that. What's the next?
July 1.
July 1? Okay, it's the next question.
No,
Yeah.
the next quarter is in April, but this
Fiscal
wouldn't be
year.
in effect
Until
until
July?
fiscal year.
Mhm.
Yep,
Okay.
July.
Okay.
I don't know if so we also offer extra trash totes. People can purchase those totes. Right now, they're $60 a quarter. We do ask for that money up front. We had a discussion today, possibly going 70 to 75 for the extra trash totes.
Okay. Have you seen over the past, say, 6 months or so, an increase, or over the past year, an increase in people asking
Yes.
for that with everybody staying at home?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've seen an increase in totes that don't close too.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I've
Yeah. And we
driving around town and going for walks, constantly seeing it.
Delhi, to keep it consistent based on the rate increase, it should probably go up somewhere around 18%, which would make it 70.8.
Yeah. So $70.
Yeah,
Or
80
70.
cents. You could round it.
72.
Yeah.
Yeah, 70.
$72.
Don't you?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do we want to make a motion?
Well, let's,
For the extra tote, I'll make a motion that we increase the rental rate for a second extra tote is to 72 for a quarter.
Okay.
okay, we have a
Second.
motion and a second by Christine. All in favor to increase, as of July 1, the cost of the extra tote to $72 per quarter. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. And we did finish out the original motion and, right? Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
That was
And then-
July 1. That's why I just want to make sure we didn't skip over that.
You do the language for July 1st as well, please.
Yep. So July 1st, the extra trash tote fee will be $72. Another thing that we're gonna have to go up, certain people qualify for an exemption, and that is if they're seniors and their income guidelines, if they meet the requirements for the assessor's office, they also get a reduced trash rate. Right now, trash rate being $82. They're being billed $60. I think it's like a $22 credit for seniors and veterans.
Do we want to do that, keep that as a percentage? So whatever the percentage is from the 82 down to, what'd you say, 60?
If everything else is going up 18%, then that should.
Okay. So we'll do $60. All right, so it's $11, so.
So that's going to 71.
Yeah. Yeah, we could
Right.
call it 72, just like
Okay.
it's up to you guys.
I make a motion, we increase the exemption for seniors and veterans to from $60 to $72.
And second? Okay. Can I have a motion from Steve and a second from Christine to increase the senior and veteran exemption from $60 to $72 per quarter, which also is actually increasing the percentage, I believe, off that they're getting. So I believe they're actually saving more money with that. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, motion passed.
Okay. And I think we got the original motion for 98 to start it.
Yep.
On July 1st. We haven't voted on.
Okay, that's all right.
Oh,
Well, we kind of got a little sidetracked with the extra tote there. So we had the original motion by Christine, I believe, and seconded by Steve to increase the trash fee from $82 to $98 per quarter as of July 1st. All in
Right.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is passed. Okay. Great. Thank you, Biz, for making those notes there.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I have to hop
problem.
off, but I just want to thank you guys. I know nobody likes raising fees and it's not a popular thing to do, but we really appreciate you guys making the difficult decisions and doing the financially responsible things for the whole community. So I just want to thank you guys for doing that. And we'll definitely be in touch about pursuing an enterprise fund in the future when the time is right.
Definitely. All right. Doug, thank you very much for your support. We all greatly appreciate it.
Yep, you
Thank
got
you,
it.
Doug.
thanks,
Thank
Doug.
you.
Thank you.
And Biz, thank you for all you've done here too.
No
Thanks,
problem.
Biz.
Am I good to get off now, Delhi? Am I dismissed?
Till tomorrow.
Okay, so I'm dismissed.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Biz.
Good
Thank you
night.
so
Okay,
much,
thanks,
Biz.
Vic.
Really, honestly, I appreciate it.
No problem. Do what I can.
Okay. All
Good
right.
night.
All right. That being said, the next thing on the agenda is the health agent's report with a COVID-19 update and the vaccine.
Yes, so numbers are going down. Right now, we
Okay.
have 76 positive cases in the town of Rockland. And that's a 2-week count. Compared to January, we're having like 40 cases a day. So the office is quieted down. We still, every week, still request vaccines. And we haven't been given them. The state is making everybody go to these large regional sites. And the only thing that we can do at some point is do the affordable housing. So Rockland Housing Authority will, we will hold a clinic to vaccinate just that housing authority. We don't know when, but we're on the list and they're gonna sip them somehow. Rockland firefighters, EMTs will administer the shots because there's not that many. And they can do, there's like 80 people, they can do 80 people in 2 hours, so. Yeah, we did all that work and trying to get volunteers. I got, 44 RNs that said, let me help. I sent out letters to all of them. We were in a good position and ready to open up the EDS site, and we got shot down. So it's frustrating. The phone calls, people don't call as much as they did before because they know. And it's sad because you have people on the phone and they want to go see their family.
Yeah,
So
definitely rough. Yeah, I know. I've been speaking with you, Del, and with Chief Duffy, and the frustration of trying to get the state to give us the vaccines, especially when you see these other towns, getting them, which happened early on. it is. It's just very frustrating. We want to do what's right for the town, right for our community, our residents, our friends, and we're just being roadblocked, from higher up. But at least the Rockland Housing Authority, at least we'll be able to help them out a little bit.
Also with
yeah.
homebound residents would be able to,
Oh, good.
Yep.
So even outside of, say, just for example, Leisure Woods, homebound in there.
yes, and there's no homebound in Leisure Woods.
Right. That was just an example.
Yeah.
But-
So with the help of the Council on Aging, they have a list that they gave me. Anybody out there that knows a Rockland resident that's homebound, please call the Board of Health and we will take all their information and get them on the list to be vaccinated when we get them.
Just for clarification, do you have a definition of homebound?
Homebound, yes, has to be somebody that does not have the means to get out of their home without assistance.
Okay. That's why I just want to get that out there, clarify, maybe, hopefully thin out some of the calls you get of those that don't qualify for homebound.
And also with the homebound, their spouse gets done too.
Good.
Well, that's great.
Excellent. Anything else with the vaccine or COVID?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Christine, do you have any questions on this or Steve?
I just have a question, Deli. Do you know, I understand that there's some ability for veterans to get vaccinated as well if they're out of the Boston VA. Do you know anything about that?
They have to contact Tim, our veterans agent.
Okay.
With Tim White, I think his name is, it's Tim. He's our veterans agent.
Okay.
So he would be the one that would direct them when they're having a clinic.
Okay.
All right. Steve, anything?
No, I've been paying attention to the news and I see, I don't see any willingness to let the emergency management people, we've been, fire department and Board of Health been working together with emergency management for years. And it's the same question. Why aren't we doing this stuff more local?
Yeah,
And
they
Our
push
hands are tied. We're
training.
stuck. I know, we're
They
stuck.
push training on us for the EDS site. Like there was so many different trainings and seminars that I had to go on and be prepared. I was so prepared. It was emotional roller coaster for a while.
Yeah, there's an article in the Globe about how, the state spent millions of dollars to come up with a whole, vaccine, plan even before COVID happened. And then COVID happened and they just abandoned it.
Abandoned the whole thing.
Yeah.
They started sending people to Fenway Park in February.
Yeah. There's a
Or
reason they go to
Foxborough.
Fort Myers.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay. Is there anything else, Christine or Steve, you need to bring up?
I just wanted to mention that people can call the Veterans Office, and I believe the number is 781-871-1393. Just if they want to contact the Veterans Office. Do you have, is that incorrect?
It's just the regular town hall number now.
It
There's
is.
no direct line number. Yeah.
Okay,
And I think his extension is 1180.
okay. Terrific. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah.
I just feel like if, whatever information we can get out there,
Absolutely.
I know. Yeah.
Okay.
It's sad because a lot of people, they get emotional,
Mm-hmm.
and then they don't they don't see anything happening, so they blame the town.
Yeah,
But now I think people realize, because it is on the news and everything else, everybody knows that we're not getting it. I was so excited because Chief Duffy and I had a plan. We were gonna go to Leisure Woods, hold a clinic, get all those people. We were gonna go to Springgate, hold a clinic, get all those people. We had a plan in place. We were hoping to get the teachers. We were hoping the state said, here, you want those kids back by April 1st? Here's 1,000 vaccines, get them vaccinated. But, and we could do that at the high school, no problem.
yeah.
So it is.
Okay.
All right. Okay, is there anything else that needs to be brought up? If not, that is the end of the agenda. So we are-
Recycling center. I know, just when you guys thought you were gonna go eat dinner.
It's Taco Tuesday. Come on.
The recycling center. Dave's still there. He's still doing what he needs to do for the road upgrade. We have $120,000 article for town meeting to finish the road. We're in a good position. We're looking to get internet down there. The solar field people have been down there fixing their solar problem. So there's a lot of things going on, and the Rockland Recycling Center is getting lots of attention. We will be ordering fiscal year 21 stickers, going through all that all over again, starting in May.
All right.
And just for me, I'd like to say thank you to Dave Taylor. I've met with him a couple of times down the recycling center, and Dave has taken an active role in helping us out down there, and we appreciate it.
Definitely. Yeah, we are very lucky that we have who we have in town amongst all the departments. And Dave is definitely one of the good ones.
Yes.
All right. I would also just like to, I feel I need to give Delshawn a shout out also. Plus also Kathy and Janine in the office. You know, well, you know what? I mean, Del, you mentioned earlier it's time to slow down in there. It's like, well, you know what? A lot of the phone calls about the vaccines and that stuff, you know, and the contact tracing, you know, that might be slowing down, but nothing else is slowing down in there. And the office has been working nonstop, incredible hours to get what has to be done. And I just want to say, you know, I appreciate it.
Oh, thanks. It's my job, and I love it.
As do I. Good job.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
definitely.
It is.
And yeah, I know
Good.
you guys are working tirelessly, and I know every phone call can be half an hour each, really, if not more, just people talking about how it's affecting them. And you guys are spent really, like Scott said, tireless hours of doing that. So we really, I'm grateful that things are slowing down a bit for you guys. You can breathe a little bit. And much appreciated for all that you're all doing there.
Yeah, and you know what? I have a great, Janine and Kathleen are amazing. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. I mean, honest to God, it is 100% team, 100% teamwork. We bounce ideas off of each other. They correct me when I'm wrong a lot. So it's good. It's nice to have that. Don't forget Deli. And I'm like, oh yeah. So
Yeah.
we have a good teamwork.
Great. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I would like to entertain.
Oh, meeting for April. I'm
Oh, yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry. Yes.
Sorry. All I'm smelling are tacos right now. Is that tacos? What are we having tonight? Oh, okay. Pasta.
Oh,
Oh, well.
You had that
Okay.
new.
darn.
Did you see that new trend that's out there? It's the tomato feta trend?
No,
What do you mean tomato feta?
You just,
What? Could-
sounds good.
yes,
That's just cooking tomatoes down with feta.
yeah, who's that, Julie?
Actually, Lily,
Lily, oh, did she saw it on TikTok?
probably. I don't know.
Don't have
I
TikTok.
certainly didn't see it on TikTok.
Nope.
Instagram and Facebook.
Okay. Can I throw out April 13th as a date?
Is
Sure.
that, can I just ask, what, is that a Tuesday, the second Tuesday?
It is.
Yes.
Okay. If I could, that second Tuesday of any day, that is like the worst day for me.
Okay.
So if we could make it any other week, I'd be grateful.
Okay.
The 20th? Or the 6th?
I would probably prefer the 20th. Steve,
one's fine
your
by me.
preference? Okay, Christine, has the 20th work for
The
you?
20th is fine. Yeah, the 20th is fine.
Or
Or the
20?
6th, yeah, either one's fine for me.
How does the 5 o'clock meet go? How does that work for everybody? You want to do 6?
6 is
Oh.
better.
No, no.
Yeah.
5 or 5:30 is better for me.
Okay.
Yeah, 5:30 or 6. Doesn't really matter to me.
I can do 5:30. That would be the earliest, I think.
I think
All
5:30 kind of worked tonight.
Yeah,
So Monkey, let's keep it that. So the April 20th at 5:30.
you got it.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to get put on the agenda, they can write to the office and get requested to put on.
Right, legibly and neatly.
Yes, that too. Yes. And email is fine. So,
Awesome.
okay, so now that that's done, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor?
6:41.
Bye.
Aye.
All right.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.
Good night, all.
Great.
Good
Thank you,
night.
everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Good night.
Have a good day. Good night.